Welcome one, welcome all once again to Pit Road Productions, our final show of this week, and what a show it's going to be. It's one of our favourite leagues, one of our favourite cars, and one of Zippy's favourite tracks. We're here at Oulton Park for round 9 of season 6 of the Almeida Racing League. Spec racer Fords around Oulton Park, Zippy. What a time it's going to be. I'm Reese Gardner. It is indeed Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the commentary box. Looking forward to some good racing here tonight, Zippy. We are running the International Without Britain's layout of Oulton Park, so it'll be a nice run into the Hislop chicane.
Yeah, definitely going to be an absolute belter of a circuit today. Myself, I can't decide if I prefer it with the chicanes or without. Certainly, it's one of those tracks where you've got to be very daring if you want to go and take on those chicanes. But thankfully, I don't know if we're going to see too much of that today. Indeed, definitely a slightly smaller field today. And if you're wondering why are these guys lost interest, no, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Backfirst 12-hour for iRacing this weekend. Certainly, I do know there is a couple of teams from the Academy that's entered. Connor Bell, I believe, might be driving right now himself. Kyle Castro, and indeed Rich Meese is on the team as well, and I believe there's one more in there. Don't hold me to it though. Certainly I've not been able to keep up with the group chats. I definitely have not been able to keep up with the group chats, but certainly it does give us an idea for next season. We'll have to see if that comes through, but certainly, Reese, it's going to be an absolute belt. And as you were saying before we started the show, some heavy hitters are indeed here, and it's good to see as well Finland is yet again being represented with Tuukka Vakaseo. Good to see he's back as well. Kevin Lau is back as well. Ian Joyner's made it in. Certainly a good collection of drivers in there. Cairo Enz, as always, is in here as well. It's going to be a fun show.
Yeah, absolutely it is. We should take a look at the season thus far and the season to come, though, the schedule for this season. We started off at Watkins Glen and Barber, first endurance round of the season at Phoenix, then Montreal, Aragon, and Oschersleben to round out the first 6 rounds. Then we entered February, and it was the second endurance round of the season at Catalunya. Chicago last week was certainly an action-packed one, a little bit of controversy as well. I'm sure we'll see the same at Oulton Park. Imola and Lebanon to end off the season. 11 rounds, and we are rapidly reaching the pointy end of this championship, Zippy. I think the standings will be very interesting to take a look at, but before that, we'll see what we've got in store for tonight. It's going to be a 15-minute race 1, 15-minute race 2 with a randomized invert every single round. This round, it is once again the top 8 that will be inverted for the start of race 2. Then the feature of 20 minutes. No fast repairs, fixed setups. It's all about the drivers, the cars, how they can deal with the track.
Absolutely, Reese, and certainly it's going to be an absolute belter of a show today. I'm definitely looking forward to it indeed, and definitely one of those combinations where I do wish I'd had a chance to get out there on the track. But before we get too excited, let's take a look here at the championship points, starting with the Academy overall.
Yes, it's Charles Krasic on top, 1,283 points ahead of Brian Jabelski and Adrian Trevino. They round out the overall top 3. Ian Joyner there in 5th place is our top split 1 driver. Mason Kuhn not too far behind him. Joyner was not here last week at Chicago, so we shall see if he can extend that championship lead here at Oulton Park. In split 1 itself, it's Joyner and Kuhn on top, but going to be 43 points separating them. Rupesh Pineni with a great run of form as of recent in 3rd place ahead of Cairo Enz, who is the top of our club class standings. The top 5 rounded out by Tyler Harker there. They are the top 2 in the club class, with Felipe Pulls falling back a bit from them. The championship gap between Enz and Harker narrowing out of Chicago. Harker was particularly pacey there last week.
Yeah, he definitely had some talent there at Chicago, but indeed, it's good to be back, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly a pleasure as always, but it looks like we're going to try and grab an onboard lap with one of these drivers in just a second. Reese, if you'd like to pick a driver, we'll get you on board.
We shall see. Actually looks like pretty much all the drivers are up the back end of the circuit at the moment here in qualifying. So I reckon we should go for the driver that's approaching the final corner. I think Jeffrey Westland will be who we focus on here in the number 35. All about the exit out of the final corner here through Deers Leap, and then on the way towards Old Hall Corner at turn 1. It's a curved start-finish stretch at Oulton Park. Bring it over to the left-hand side to open up the entry into Old Hall Corner. Tightens up in the middle. You need to late apex it, and be careful not to run too far beyond the curbs, otherwise you'll get an off-track. Through Cascades, there's a little bump here on entry that you need to negotiate. Very gingerly putting the steering lock on is Jeffrey Westland to avoid running wide on the exit. Nothing but grass beyond the track at this circuit. Then an incredibly fast corner to lead you through to the hairpin. It's a tap of the brakes, maybe just a lift in the spec racer forward. Carry as much speed as you can and then bring it round through this banked hairpin that launches you onto the back stretch. The full layout of this circuit does include this chicane that Westland's coming up to now, but we're not using it for this round. It is a straight run all the way to the Hislop chicane, and you've got to be careful at Hislop. There's tyre barriers, tyre bundles on the apex. You've got to be careful not to hit them, but Westland is pushing as hard as he can, getting as close to them as he can for the best run through the chicane, then out through Knickerbrook. You've got to be very careful over the exit curb there. It's easy to spin out. Then the track narrows up and goes across the rise here to Druids, a double apex right-hander that has taken at incredible high speed. And a late turn-in is often beneficial. Just geometrically work your way through the corner and maybe run across the exit curb if you had a good run out. But it seems Westland is preparing for another lap here. Regardless, he will still show us the final corner here. And it's quite a fun exit here through Deer's Leap. It's very easy to spin out in a rear-wheel drive car there. It would appear that Westland is not quite going to make it to the start-finish line here. Evidently, he's going for a practice start, potentially.
Well, one thing I am seeing here, ladies and gentlemen, right now, both Rupesh Renane and indeed Jeremy Childress both with a matching lap time of a 144.49. Incredibly close competition. As I say that, Rupesh Renane able to make a slight improvement there, pulls it up to a 144.17. Currently, the only driver making it into the 143s, no surprises, ladies and gentlemen, it's Ian Joyner, but I've got to say, Cairo Ends and indeed Tyler Harker are lurking behind him. They are 100% going to be using the slipstream from the back of the number 18 there and try and find their way further up through the standings. As I say that, Cairo Ends currently in P2 overall.
Yeah, good laps from Ends. It's been a real pleasure to see Cairo develop. He's been here from the very beginning of our coverage of the Almeida Racing League, and it's been a steady rise in pace, in consistency, in confidence, in racecraft as well from Cairo, and he's been rewarded with the championship lead in the club class as a result. Harker behind him, as we mentioned, is second in the club class, so it's really important for him to at least stay with Cairo, maybe qualify ahead of him if he can, and that will set him up for a good run in the last couple of rounds. The championship is technically still on.
Very much so, and indeed these guys are going to be able to duke it out. I'm definitely looking forward to it. We've just got 3 drivers here on the driver cam today. Cairo Ends, Kevin Adrian, and indeed Kevin Lau makes a return. I guess he was watching. Certainly good to have you back there, Kevin. We'll try and get you a little bit of extra screen time, but indeed I have a feeling this is going to get very juicy, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see here, drivers trying to find their way further up through the standards.
Yeah, a couple of drivers finding their way into the grass as well. I'm not sure who was spinning out ahead of those guys, but at the very least, there's a reasonable amount of runoff area here at Oulton Park. It's an old school circuit in every fashion of the word. Actually, apart from being an old estate, Old Hall Corner is called that because that's where the old Oulton Hall building used to sit. Also served as an army camp for the US Army during the Second World War. General Patton was stationed here. There's a lot of history to this place, but the circuit itself emerged in the early 1960s and has been extended a couple of times. Its basic layout changing very little.
Well, certainly, I'm actually finding myself really enjoy a little bit of the historical side here of racetracks. Reese, is that something that you covered on your YouTube channel, actually?
Actually, it is, yes. I do need to kick myself in the rear a little bit and get my video production back up and running. I do have some videos in the works. Southpaw Racer is my channel. I have put up one in-depth documentary-style video on the history of Zandvoort, which I would definitely recommend you check out. It also has a little bit of a military history, that racetrack.
Well, definitely. Send me the link, Reese. I'll watch it. It definitely sounds like a lot of fun indeed. I could do with having my famous expertise knowledge expanded. But right now, we've got Kevin Lau. But before we get too excited, I think let's take a little break here and have a message from Swelio.
He's here teaching all his secrets to all these drivers. This is Almeida Racing Academy,
where every champion has a starting line.
The sim racer turned real world superstar, Swelio Almeida.
It's Connor Bell racing in his own backyard for the very first time in the NASCAR Canada Series.
The workshops helped out so much. Something about battling with somebody faster than you, it just pushes you that little bit further, and I was able to just keep developing my skill.
I can kind of commit more with the exit there. That was good. If you do take sim racing seriously, it does impact your racing technique for the rest of your life.
I know how the car is going to perform around these corners because of the model I have in the sim. Just the benefit of sim racing when you go into real life, I don't think people quite realize it yet.
You have infinite track time is the biggest factor. You are able to try so many things, and the physics that are simulated in the sim nowadays, especially iRacing, are so close to real life.
Creating champions.
Swelio Almeida is a master at his craft. He's outclassed a Le Mans driver, a European Le Mans Series racer.
These guys are among the top 0.02% in the world.
Designed to create champions.
First NASCAR Canada start. First NASCAR victory for Connor Bell.
Connor Bell standing on the podium here today.
This is the Almeida Racing Academy 3.0.
Way to race, buddy, way to race.
A brilliant initiative, this coaching company, the Almeida Racing Academy, helping you get faster, both in iRacing and in the real world. Just $25 a month gets you access to all of the coaching material from Swelio Almeida and friends. It's a fantastic service. All of the drivers that you're seeing competing in this race are students of the Almeida Racing Academy, and this is their chance to really test their mettle and apply what they've learned in sessions with the coaches. On board with Taiwan's Kevin Lau. He didn't set a time in practice. At the moment, sitting on a 144.6 as we're seeing some big improvements in qualifying. Rupesh Paneni and Tyler Harker now round out the top three as Ian Joyner has brought the pole position time down to a 143.3. And it's only a few minutes left in the session, Zippy. I think we're going to be seeing a few more improvements before we're out.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a movement there in the order as Zoltan Zomator, he's going to make his way up through the rankings, as is Bas Van der Lee and indeed Barrett Blummet. Cairo ends having to settle there for P7 as Barrett Blummet taking a little bit of a scenic detour there. Yep, that's Jeremy Childers right behind him indeed. Talk about Kaseo, definitely good to see you back, sir. He's there in P10, and indeed we've got quite the eclectic mix here between the Premier and the club drivers right now. Not really any particular class locking it out.
Yeah, it does seem like Joyner has a relative advantage over the rest of the field, about 0.3 of a second in it for pole, but Rupesh Paneni and Tyler Harker very close on pace. There's only about 0.06 of a second separating them. On board here with Kevin Adrian, who's at the back end of the top 10 for the moment. We'll see what he can do here. Oh, he's wrestling with the steering a little bit into his locks. You saw just how he was almost doing a little Scandinavian flick to get the car into the corner. I mean, that's sometimes what you have to do in the spec racer Ford, isn't it, Zippy?
Oh yeah, sometimes you want to move the weight around a little bit. Certainly, one of the things I really like about this circuit, and certainly I'd say, trying to think of another one that would really demonstrate that. But if you think of Road Atlanta, for example, it's smooth, it's flowing, but when you get like the chicane here, it's really not. I mean, it probably should be smooth if you're a better driver than me. Indeed, you need to spend more time at the Almeida Racing Academy. But I do enjoy when it almost feels like you are absolutely blasting it within inches of the track limits, and indeed the hard surfaces that is the tyre barrier. It's Kevin Adrian making a pit stop.
Yes, he unfortunately left the solid surface of the tarmac there coming out of the final corner and goes into the pits then. We're not anticipating that drivers will have to make a pit stop. This 3-sprint race format that we've run for the vast majority of the season is basically just out and out. You're on track, no need to come in for fuel or anything like that. But it's still worth practicing pit entry, isn't it? Because you never know what could happen out there. You could deal with some damage, you might have to bring it in for some other issue as well. And pit entry at Oulton Park is particularly difficult.
Yeah, definitely a set of challenges indeed. We see there Philip Falcon pulling off to the side, but what I can see that we don't really mention yet is the number 12 car of Kane Halliburton appears to be in the session. I don't see a lap time by him, but I have to see if he is indeed going to take to the grid.
Yeah, traditionally, the coaches, Kane Halliburton being one of them, start at the rear of the grid. Well, we'll get ourselves rolling here for the grid. I believe those are just the Premier class drivers that we're looking at there. We'll have to filter the club class drivers into it for the full run through this grid. Ian Joyner and Rupesh Paneni are your front row. It's Tyler Harker and Zoltan Zomator on row number 2. Harker taking pole in the club class. Bas van der Lee and Barrett Brummett are your third row, with Cairo Enns, the club championship leader, starting out a 7th alongside Jeremy Childers. Kevin Adrian and the returning Tuukka Valkeasoa round out your top 10. Then it's Philip Falcon and Kevin Lau on row 6. And behind them, we will see Jeffrey Westland, Jeffrey Adkins, a Jeffrey lockout of row 7, ahead of Carlton Howard and Kane Halliburton to make 16 cars for the start, Zippy.
Yeah, definitely one of the smaller grids we've seen here in the ARA, but ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget these guys are running 4 different splits as well, so certainly keep that in mind. If you're wondering, like, oh my gosh, there's nobody there, you would be mistaken. There is indeed a lot of people there, and a lot of people as well taking part in one of the, well, actually probably one of your favourite special events of the year races, Bathurst.
Yeah, absolutely. I just came screaming in sideways from commentating the first stint of the top split of the Bathurst 12-hour, and it was great to be involved with that. It is definitely one of the highlights of the motorsport calendar, and it's effectively the start of the motorsport year in Australia. I would like to see the Spec Racer Forwards make their way around Bathurst at least once in the Almeida Racing League, though. I think that would be a great show.
Yeah, that'd definitely be a good one. Maybe we'll start getting a list together, Reese, of fun car track combos we'd like to see. We'll make one up, and certainly ourselves at Pit Road Productions, thinking of having a couple of special events a year, and certainly if you've got suggestions for what we should do for that, by all means let us know in our Discord, ladies and gentlemen. And a little friendly reminder, if you haven't done already, please hit that subscribe button, and if you're watching on Swellio's channel as well, 100% hit the subscribe button, hit the like button for Swellio as well. Help him with the algorithm and indeed help him get some more views. We'd love to see our fearless leader doing even better, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what he's going to be racing for this year, but I'm certainly keeping an eye. It does look, if you watch his content, it looks like he's having a little bit of fun in a Formula car. So keep your eye on that.
That's going to be very interesting to watch indeed. Of course, Swellio Almeida's and Connor Bell as well. A couple of really great stories of sim to reality drivers. It's amazing seeing the trajectory that those drivers have had, both in the real world and the sim world. For now, though, we are going to take to the start here, and looks like you're right, Zippy. Kane Halliburton hasn't taken to the grid, which is mildly disappointing. We won't be seeing him cutting his way through the field in race 1. Hopefully races 2 and 3 will see him make an appearance, but it's time for the green flag. Ian Joyner doing those final couple of weaves in there as the green flag flies, the pace car pulling into pit lane very quickly, and we are away for the 9th round of Season 6 already. Tyler Harker on the defense here. Rupesh Paneni trying around the outside of Old Hall Corner, and he's going to get it done there on the exit of the corner. A crash in the back, meanwhile. Looks like Kevin Adrian's had a spin.
Yeah, definitely. I'm suspecting a little bit of cold tires there. Both Jeffries getting involved in that, I suspect, as well. But meanwhile, at the front of the pack, Ian Joyner, he's going to need nothing short of a miracle, ladies and gentlemen, to try and pull himself away from the rest of the field. Indeed, Rupesh Paneni still very much in that draft. He's about 5/10 of a second back, and the whole grid there trying to get quickly in the single file. Kevin Lau, though, what he really needs to do is get a little bit of support here behind from the likes of Philip Falcon, Carlton Howard, and indeed the 2 Jeffries and Kevin, indeed, as right now he is just on the very edge of being able to catch up the slipstream for Tuukka Valkeasoa.
Yeah, the slipstream comes into effect on this layout. It's a flat-out run, as I said, from the hairpin down to the Hislop chicane. Meanwhile, Barrett Brummett and Cairo Enns side by side into the chicane. This is not really a clear passing opportunity, and Brummett has to yield to Enns there. The outside entry winning that time on lap 1. But I think we're going to be seeing a few drivers maybe brush a bit too close to those tyre bundles over the course of this one.
Oh, I'm definitely waiting for it. And indeed, that's exactly what the driver of the number 88 needed. Indeed, that has put him very much in the drafting range. Carlton Howard, though, starting to have a little bit of a battle here with Philip Falcon. These two drivers, don't get me wrong, it's good to have some battles, but for the long-term strategy, guys, you need to tuck in, work together, and catch up to the back here of Kevin Lau.
Yeah, the first lap is complete now, or just about to be, and it looks like Ian Joyner hasn't quite been able to get away from Rupesh Paneni. He had a good start, but Paneni has been immediately on the pace, and you know the Indian has always been aggressive ever since the start of the season. We've seen him really push the car as hard as he possibly can. He's doing exactly the same right here at Oulton Park, but for the moment he'll have to stay behind Joyner at the front of the field. Looks like the entire grid has formed into something of a formation there. Zomator spins.
Yeah, I gotta say, exit stage right there for the German driver that is indeed the one landing Mrs. Oulton Zomator. That was interesting. You know what, let's take a quick replay of that. I'm not quite sure how he pulled that off.
Yeah, that was, did someone say Kansei Dorito or something? Let's have a look. Oh, just losing the rear end in the middle of the left-hander. And, I mean, once the rear end goes at that kind of angle, Zippy, you've driven the Spec Racer 4 plenty. You know that it's pretty hard to save from that.
Definitely pretty hard. It's a lot better than it used to be. When it had a tire update, it changed the whole feeling of the car completely. Certainly, a Spec Racer Ford used to be a Death Machine bathtub on wheels, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, Rupesh Paneni very much under the, I'd say the rear wing, the rear cowling, we'll say, of this Spec Racer Ford. With Tyler Harker very much in pursuit. Bas van der Lee, though, he's dropped back quite heavily, 1.7 seconds behind the lead pack.
Yeah, Van der Lee, though, has made up one position in this race so far. This is one of his best performances of the season, I think. Cairo Enns will be piling the pressure on, though. Out of Druids, the slipstream will be picked up ever so briefly again before we get to the final corner, which is another of the clearer passing opportunities around this place. I mean, from these onboards, you really get a sense for how narrow this circuit is. There's really not much room to go side by side through some of these turns.
Yeah, it definitely is a little bit of a snug scenario indeed. As you got to say, I got to wonder, is Cairo Enns going to work together here with Bas van der Lee, as these guys are indeed going to duke it out and try and find their way up to the podium?
Yeah, keeping an eye on the lap times, it would appear that Cairo Enns setting a 144.9 and Barrett Brummett the same, but Bas van der Lee has not been able to get below 1:45, and the top three are breaking away. They are running mid 144s. They're about 4-5 tenths of a second faster than the drivers behind him. So I think it's going to be a tough job for not only Cairo to get ahead of van der Lee, but to try and make a campaign there.
Indeed, but currently the fastest lap being held by the 88 of Kevin Lau. Don't get me wrong, he's got an absolutely phenomenal slipstream there, but I have to wonder as well, are these three drivers going to work together? Are they going to save the passing to the end? Bas van der Lee, he's no stranger to this field. He's going to know exactly what he needs to do to catch up, but I always have to wonder, would it be beneficial to let Enns go ahead and maybe give him a little bit of a push there to help him down the straights?
Yeah, I have to wonder if the same, I have to wonder the same, honestly. We have seen some bump drafting at the front of the field, and I think that's where we are starting to see those gains being made. There's further changes for position further back. It looks like Jeffrey Westland has made his way past Zoltan Zomator, and well, we'll see Carlton Howard, Jeffrey Adkins, and Kevin Adrian round out our field for the moment. But side by side, just about there, Zomator trying up the inside of Westland at Druids, and it's not every day you see cars running side by side through that part of the track, but Zomator and Westland made it work.
Yeah, definitely. As I say that, they're still side by side, ladies and gentlemen. This is a good opportunity here for Philip Falcon. He's got a good run indeed. I think Westland's going to be under attack here. Not quite got the exit, but indeed, he's definitely applying a good amount of pressure. Is he going to put a nose in here as he makes his way around turn one? No. Ducks back in behind Westland and indeed the 35.
It's hard to make moves at turn one. It's got such an open and fast entry, but a very sharp apex and not much room to recover on the exit. Oh, here we go. The 157 of Jeffrey Adkins getting the run on Carlton Howard through Cascades, as that looks like Falcon that slid and spun there through the left-hander. Had to back out of it there. Big old bailout indeed. Good to see that Philip Falcon has kept it rolling, though.
Yeah, definitely if there was a heads-up display at that occasion, it would have been, we got a bogey ahead, and indeed, he definitely did not want to land on his screen. Ian Joyner, though, able to pull away about half a second from Rupesh Paneni. Indeed, Tyler Harker going side by side now with Paneni as well. I have a feeling that this could, this might end interestingly there, as Paneni actually gives back the position, ladies and gentlemen. I'm quite surprised. I thought he would have fought for that a little bit harder.
I think that's a smart move from Panini, actually. Harker seems to be a bit more pacey at this stage. They're very equal on pace, but maybe Panini is hoping that Harker will have a go at Joyner and maybe make the pass for the lead a bit easier for him.
Yeah, that's definitely a solid tactic. You know what? I'd have the same approach. You know, I can't get him in. You have a go. Let's see.
Yeah.
Indeed. We've seen it in a couple of series, ladies and gentlemen. You get somebody who tends to be quite potent in the field, and you almost end up having... you know, it's almost like I beat the Stig t-shirt. Well, I think we might need one for Ian Joyner as well.
Yeah, I think if anyone is Stig-worthy in this season anyway, it is Joyner, and maybe Cairo Enns as well. Great pace that we've seen from the both of them. Surprise, surprise, looks like Kane Halliburton has jumped into the server. So we will be seeing him take the start of race 2, hopefully. He wasn't here for the start of race 1, but that gold coach car sitting in the pits ready to be driven out at any point. The battle for the top 3 then keeps closing up. Cairo Enns, you'll note, has made his way past Bas van der Lee, but I don't know if there's enough time left in the race for him to really have a go at the top 3 there.
Well, let's take a look here at the replay. Goes and gets it done. Heading out of the hairpin, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, a good solid pass. He got the exit and makes his intentions pretty clear as he makes his way down towards the chicane.
Yeah, great run from Cairo Enns, and Bas van der Lee didn't really have any reason to fight him there. Cairo is looking mighty pacey at the moment. Now that he's free of Bas van der Lee, we'll see what kind of times he can put down. Once again, Rupesh Panini thought about going for the move on Tyler Harker, but pulled back behind him on the way into the chicane. We see van der Lee here really keeping up with Cairo on the way into the corners, but it seems on the exit, Cairo is holding strong. I think if there's any track that really shows the importance of slow and fast out, it's Oulton Park.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that, and certainly it suits my driving style a little bit more. Maybe now that you say that, Reese, maybe that's why I tend to do quite well here. Certainly, unless it rains a little bit too much. My last time out here was in the Formula 1600, and I had pace, didn't have control, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, there was a few moments where, indeed, I absolutely yeeted it into a spin, and could have potentially got an Olympic medal if spinning out a car was indeed a scored sport. But right now, I can say that Ian Joyner very much under attack. He's not had a break yet this race, but despite that, has not been toppled off the front step of the podium. Indeed, though, I think Cairo Enns may be catching up. As I say that, Kevin Lau yet again going even faster with a 143.64.
That is a solid fastest lap there from Kevin Lau. He's been taking advantage of the slipstream of the 4 cars ahead of him here. He would have stonking speed down the straights. He's 0.3 faster than anyone else has run over the course of this race. Actually, correct myself, 0.2. Tyler Harker with the second fastest lap of the race at a 143.81. So let's see what Lau can do here. Clearly looking pacey here despite being slightly on the back foot in qualifying. He could be looking at a top 5 if everything goes his way.
Yeah, I do have to wonder if he's sitting back there in terms of strategy. Don't get me wrong, he's up 4 positions as well. Okay, qualifying maybe didn't go the best for him, but are we going to see here a pass attempt here from Bas van der Lee? Cairo Enns goes to cover the inside, well, breaks the draft mainly, and then goes and plants it back on the racing line. Fair play. Enns is thinking about the strategy here, but despite that, they are not really catching up to the back of Rupesh Panini, who's currently in P3.
Yeah, the top 3 have still been running faster than everyone behind by a 1/10 of a second at least, so I don't think we're going to be seeing much of a run from the drivers 4th place back. They'll be involved with each other for the final 3 laps of this first race. Ian Joyner's last lap, a 144.0. Tyler Harker, 143.95. Rupesh Panini, a 143.93. It's incredibly close pace here.
Yeah, absolutely incredibly close. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you're more about reading than you are indeed about hearing, certainly I can relate. There's the lap times for you there, constantly updating there in comparison to Tyler Harker. But I've got to say, an incredibly close field. I was a little bit worried initially that we had a smaller grid, but certainly, you know, it's turned out to be a good race. But what I am going to say, though, is if you're looking at the chat as well there, Reese, we have the one and only Mr. Sardan Kardenbev, and he's currently at Buttonwillow. Now, I do happen to know there's a couple of people out there who I'm familiar with. Certainly, Trevor Kramer will be one of them. If you go and see him, he's going to be driving a Mini Cooper. You can learn a lot from that man. He is a talented mechanic. and indeed a very talented racer at the start. Make sure you go and meet the guy, and indeed the leader of Grass Braddock Motorsports as well. Go see Frank as well. I think you'd be benefiting very well to have a chat with him. But indeed, go and enjoy your breakfast, do us proud, and indeed I want to hear some results for how it goes for you at Buttonwillow. Ladies and gentlemen, another driver who also races in the sim, and in reality is right now we're going to put that on hold as Rupesh Pineni there giving an almighty bomb drop to Tyler Harker. Indeed, these guys have uniformed together and are trying to find their way ahead of Ian Joyner.
Yeah, Joyner got mugged there, didn't he? Not the greatest exit from the hairpin. Not the greatest exit from the hairpin for Ian Joyner, but he is going to fight back here into Druids. He's going to go side by side with Tyler Harker. We've seen Zoltan Zomator and Jeffrey Westland do this already, but not as much space given there for the lead of the race. They bump side panels, and Ian Joyner just gets back into the lead. Now Rupesh Pineni has changed allegiances. He's not pushing Harker anymore. He's pushing Joyner.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. I always have to wonder, are these guys, like, I think you've got your voice comms on, are these guys communicating? Are they trying to work together to beat Joyner? Or is Rupesh Pineni just, you know, is he a wolf in sheep's clothing? But the whole time this has gone on, Cairo Ends is still 2.5 seconds back, leading a pack of about 4 or 5 cars. You can see there just in the background, that's Tulkabaka Sale, ladies and gentlemen, just out of the draft range. He's about 1.5 seconds behind. Jeffrey Westland still going at it here with Zoltan Zomator. Indeed, good battles indeed. Kevin Agent, he's got his own little posse as well. Philip Falcon and Jeffrey Atkins keeping him company as well.
Indeed, and Carlton Howard, the last running car on circuit, all on his own, unfortunately, about 7 seconds back from Adkins, but he should be able to get to the finish from here. Sorry to disappoint you, Zippy, but I almost never have voice chat on when I'm commentating, so I cannot give you any answers as to how much these guys are working together, but I think their car behavior is enough of a betrayal of their intentions. It's still on for fourth with Cairo Ends and Bas van der Lee drawing ever closer. Kevin Lau and Barrett Brummett are right in the midst of all of it here. Jeremy Childers catching up to Kevin Lau, so it looks like the Taiwanese driver will have some racing to do here. And Enz and Van der Lee are side by side into the chicane there. Van der Lee with not the greatest run out of the corner. Barrett Brummett takes advantage.
That was a lot happening in one corner. I did see a little bit of a puff of smoke there. We'll maybe take a quick look at the replay of that one, but indeed, interesting maneuver going on.
Yeah, indeed. I think Cairo was defending the inside from Van der Lee here, and you'll see Van der Lee wash out wide here. Very slow run through the corner, just avoids getting into the tyre barriers. I think the puff of smoke was him locking the front right on the way into the corner, but very nice opportunistic move from Barrett Brummett. He knew exactly where to place the car there.
Yeah, I have a feeling he was waiting for that to happen. Indeed, this is a good opportunity here for Cairo Ends. He's about 8 tenths of a second clear, not quite clear of the draft, but we are indeed going to return to the lead battle here as they are very much a little bit of rearrangement here. Tyler Harker has managed to finagle. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh dear. Oh yeah, Lau's off.
Dear.
And looks like Van der Lee getting back onto the circuit as well. There's been some coming together there between the drivers battling in the midst of the top 10. It is the final lap of the race. And, okay, Lau, it looked like, had a slight slide there. And he ultimately came out worse off. Van der Lee recovering, though. Really good car positioning from Tuka Valkyasua as well. He did get a glance off him on the way through, but he has managed to just get through all of that. So is Jeremy Childers. But half a lap to go here up the front. It's on between Ian Joyner and Tyler Harker.
Oh yeah, definitely going to get incredibly spicy here. Now, this is where you got to wonder what is the strategy here for Oulton Park. Suddenly going to the chicane too wide. That's one of them. Indeed, I think you're going to find Harker's going to be at a disadvantage there, but can Rupesh Pineni get a clean exit? Not really, because Tyler Harker's got it covered off. Ian Joyner has managed to finagle his way back to the front of the grid. Is it going to be enough? Certainly for passing opportunity, unless somebody can get close enough to absolutely yeet the thing in the final corner, I think he's got this in the bag.
Well, we'll have to see what the slipstream's like for Tyler Harker and Rupesh Pineni. The top three a bit more spaced out than they were, and Pineni goes off the track on the exit of Druids. I don't think he'll have a run at it. Harker's going to have a look at Ian Joyner here, draws up to the rear of him into the last corner, but Joyner sticks it on the apex and nails the power out of it. So our championship leader in Split 1 is going to take the first win of the day here at Oulton Park in a fantastic top 3 battle.
I gotta say, it wasn't just a top 3 battle, Reese. That was absolutely phenomenal, that battle there. really, really enjoyed it indeed. Definitely some good racing action, and throughout the field as well. Philip Falcon having a good run there with Kevin Adrian as well. Definitely not the run Adrian was looking for, but looking through the grid though, Kyro Owens made it up 3 positions. Tuka Bakaseo made it up 3. Jeffrey Westland made it up 3 positions as well. But I have to feel though that Kevin Lau, without a doubt, would have been the hard charger had he had not had that little bit of a detour and on the exit of turn 1.
Yeah, shame for Lau. He clearly had pace and was looking forward to seeing what he could do. But sometimes all it takes is one mistake and your race is permanently changed. Well, that is the results then for race number 1. Ian Joyner by just 0.2 over Tyler Harker, who wins the club class. Rupesh Paneni rounds out the podium. Then it's Enz and Brummett to round out your top 5 with Childers, Valkyasuo, Bas van der Lee, Zoltan Zomator and Jeffrey Westland, your top 10. Kevin Adrian finishing in 11th place in the end, despite his couple of off-track excursions. Same for Philip Falcon too. Kevin Lau, his off-track excursion came too late for him to make a recovery. He has to settle for 13th. Adkins, Howard, they are your last finishers. Kane Halliburton did not take to the start, but I am expecting him to take the start in race 2. Remember, it is a top 8 grid invert, so that means Van der Lee is starting on pole alongside Tuka Valkyasuo, our second row being Jeremy Childers and Barrett Brummett. Kyro N starts 5th alongside Rupesh Paneni, with Tyler Harker and Ian Joyner rounding out your top 8. Zippy, from there it's where they finished in race 1.
Oh, absolutely fantastic stuff indeed. Got to commend my comrade, Mr. Reese Gardner. He is in doubt a legend in the commentary box. Certainly I feel very lucky and very happy to have him here joining me in the booth. Now, I've got to say, Reese, it's been a couple of years now. Like, our first ever show together would have been back in BIS when it was probably on Podium, which is now definitely non-existent.
Yes, indeed. I did commentate one BIS Radical race for Podium Esports, but it was with Rachel Whiteford in the commentary box.
Yeah.
I think I started commentating with you for the BIS IndyCar Championship, actually, when it came around, and that was basically one of Pit Road Productions' first shows. So, yeah, it has been a while. But I'll put the love session to an end here briefly. We're not only about to take the race start, but Ian Joyner hasn't taken to the grid.
Neither's Jeffrey Westland by the look of that. That's interesting. I'm not sure what strategy they've got in mind, but it's definitely not the one I would go for, as here we go, Bas van der Lee takes us to the green.
And already Kyro N's trying up the inside. Look at the move up the inside from Tyler Harker there to get into 4th. That was a fantastic dive, and somehow managed to squeeze his car into the right spot. Enz is trying his best to keep Tuka Valkyasuo behind him, and it looks like the Finn is going to yield coming into turn 3. And now it is between Van der Lee and Kyro N's for the lead of the race. Ian Joyner starting from the pits in this race, the number 18 making his way out there. Got to wonder, with the pace he's carrying, he might be able to fight for a podium from here. You never know.
Well, definitely he's got the pace, but I have a feeling somebody's just moved around a little bit there as... something's got interesting. I see a little bit of movement there. Let's find out what exactly happened. I have a feeling Barrett Blommet might have got caught in something.
Yeah, Colton Howard was the car running wide through the hairpin there. A little bit of an exchange between himself and Philip Falcon. Oh, yeah. So Barrett Brummett there falling down the order somewhat in the rich blue machine. Another view of it here through turn 1. Yeah, he was just shuffled out wide and then couldn't really get back onto the racing surface properly.
Yeah, I was saying that right now, he's got the likes of Kevin Lau right behind. Indeed, Lau has had some pace here today, and indeed, he's had some passing as well, just had a little bit of a wiggle there in the earlier race. But indeed, Kyro Owens has managed to slingshot himself up into the front of the grid, ladies and gentlemen. I feel bad. We're trying to catch all the instants, and then they just go and give us more quality racing. Let's take a look here at the pass for the lead.
Indeed, Kyro N's has rapidly become familiar with fighting up the front in this league, and that's how he got it done. A brilliant dive up the inside. Bas van der Lee breaking early into the chicane, and Enz was right there to take advantage. So now here we are at the start of lap 2, and Tuka Valkyasuo has come under much more pressure now. Jeremy Childers looking to make his way past, and he's towing Tyler Harker with him.
Yeah, not just that, Rupesh Benani's in the mix as well. I have a feeling that these guys are about to have some intention that they maybe did not desire here. Certainly Tyler Harker, since his arrival here in the Almeida Racing Academy, has been incredibly potent, usually making it way to the top 5 without doubt if he's got a good clean race under his belt. But certainly Rupesh Benani as well, another new driver this season. He's been absolutely on form. Both of these guys, very potent indeed. 2,831 iRating from Rupesh Benani there. Tyler Harker rocking about 4,300 as well. But iRating is not a be-all and end-all. Carlton Howard making it into this split. He's 1,716, ladies and gentlemen, and he's still currently in P12 and up 3 positions on the day.
Yes, there's always an opportunity for success, no matter what your iRating is. Joyner, for his troubles, is still trailing off the back of this field. It doesn't seem like he's put down a valid lap time yet, so no official lap times for Ian Joyner yet. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Adkins making his way around Philip Falcon there, and it looks like Carlton Howard's going to get in on it as well. Nice move from Carlton, and Philip Falcon will have to yield in the short term. Got Kevin Lau behind him as well. Lau has had a couple of problems in the last half a lap or so.
Yeah, definitely got pace though, so I would definitely be keeping an eye on him. Ian Joyner now 1.8 seconds back from that tailing pack. But indeed, Bas van der Lee, he's had a good battle here with Kai Renz for the majority of today's racing, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, these guys have been pretty much inseparable, but not for the more affectionate reasons, more in terms of pure outright competition. But what they are doing is currently pulling away from Tuka Vakaseo, who's definitely doing well. He's currently in P2 in the club class, ladies and gentlemen. Zoltan Zomator sneaks in there with the fastest lap of 144.2.
Good stuff from Zoltan Zomator. He's been struggling for results this season. Hopefully some will come his way in the final few rounds. But for the moment, sitting solidly in 8th place. Got Kevin Adrian up ahead and a few more positions to gain besides. Speaking of positions gained, Rupesh Benani up the inside of Jeremy Childers is going to take the move into the fast left-hander. And now it's up to Rupesh to try his best and catch up to the top 3.
Yeah, certainly I think Tyler Harker's going to be seeing that happen, and it's going to be absolutely manic to try and find his way here past Jeremy Childers. Don't get me wrong, Childers, definitely no slouch behind the wheel, and he's a good man as well. Definitely got a lot of love for that guy. Nothing short of a gentleman indeed. Certainly, speaking of gentlemen, Steve Saunders actually currently away. He's running the Bathurst 12 hours as well. As that looks like a little bit of a move there, or at least a prospective one from Zoltan Zomator. This is not what Tyler Harker's going to want to see in his rearview mirror. As Kevin Adrian now applying a bit of extra pressure.
Yeah, I think it was half Adrian defending from Zomator and half trying to unsettle Tyler Harker. He can see that the group ahead is starting to pull away and he wants to get ahead, but Tyler Harker was one of the fastest competitors in race 1, so I am expecting a little bit more from him in the coming laps here. It's going to be 6 laps to go in race 2 when they cross the line. Next, Adrian picks up the slipstream, dives up the inside into the final turn. Harker's going to try and carry as much speed as he can around the outside, but it's not quite enough.
Yeah, but look at this though. I think Zomator got an even cleaner exit, so I think Harker is going to get double dip potentially here. Zomator makes a move there to the inside. He's not yet alongside, but he's going to put a nose in anyway. Harker's aware. Almost contact. That was incredibly close there. How they didn't collide and absolutely ricochet into the outskirts of turn 1, I don't know, but fair play. They managed to keep it going.
Man, that was a little close for comfort there, wasn't it? Good to see that they managed to make their way out. Oh, dearie me. Around goes Carlton Howard. Jeffrey Adkins having to stamp on the brakes there. That's going to give Lau, Falcon, and Joyner a bit of a chance here. Ian Joyner, 3 wide up the inside there, and he's going to try and get Falcon as well. Ian Joyner was nowhere last lap. Suddenly, he's right in it.
We're going to have to watch a replay of that. I got to say, unfortunate for Carlton Howard, but that made for some very entertaining racing here. Let's take a look back.
So here we go then. For Ian Joyner, it all started seeing the incident ahead, the slide and spin from Carlton Howard. The smoke erupts there, and Ian Joyner sees everyone ahead of him check up there as Philip Falcon had to get on the brakes, and he thought, okay, space is here. I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah, that was absolutely incredible. You know what? He's going to get this. That was a jammy dodger of a move. He's 100% going to relate to that. Indeed, if you're wondering, it's a biscuit or indeed a cookie to the majority of people, but the whole phrase of being jammy is more like being kind of cheeky and getting away with something that you really wouldn't expect to.
Yeah, indeed. I do like me a Jamie Dodger every so often, being in a former British colony. Tyler Harker has fallen back a few positions. He's back to 9th. Something has gone on for him in the last few corners. Kevin Adrian as well has lost time to Jeremy Childers ahead. It appears there's been a bit of a schism in this pack. Adrian and Harker side by side through the final corner, and Harker, man, he almost lost the car there. Fortunately got it recovered, but cost him a few positions.
Yeah, definitely not what he had in mind, but indeed right now Cairo Enns is going to be absolutely beside himself. He's currently got 7/10 of a second lead, ladies and gentlemen, and indeed he's going to want to keep that up, as right now the pressure behind is going to be Rupesh Pennani. Can he keep him behind? Certainly, we've got a little bit of a way to go here. We're about halfway through this race, and Pennani is going to be motivated, ladies and gentlemen. He wants an outright race win. Don't get me wrong, I think he's got 1 or 2. Don't quote me on that, but indeed, an extra one, certainly with Ian Joyner being so far back, could be potential for a huge swing in the championship standings.
Yeah, the fact that Joyner started from the pits, it's basically a free kick to everyone on screen at the moment. It allows them a free position and the opportunity to battle for the outright win. Question is Rupesh Pennani faster by enough on Cairo Enns to get it done? At the moment, it seems like occasionally, yes, but it comes in flashes. Pennani's fastest lap is a 143.6. Compare that to a 144.19 for Cairo Enns. But in the recent few laps, Pennani has been running only about 100th of a second faster than Enns. This final corner might be the opportunity for him to do it. Nope, he's going to stay behind. Gotta say, whoa! Oh, that's a problem for Enns through the final corner. Pennani's going to take it. Side by side, across the line, with 4 laps to go. Will Enns be able to stay ahead? Pennani just lifts out a little bit on the way into the first corner and stays behind Enns. You know what? Early on in the season, Pennani was ultra aggressive and making huge dives. He was one of the drivers I was looking at early in the season and thinking, okay, it's either going to be a great move or it's going to be an incident. That has changed in the most recent rounds. I think this is the smartest Pennani's ever driven these last few rounds.
Yeah, his race strategy and indeed his racecraft has definitely improved. He's got pace. He's always had pace, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, incredibly potent, but definitely, as you said, a little bit of a firework. And indeed, right now, he's definitely thinking about the longer game. And don't get me wrong, this isn't something, the academy, they teach pace, they teach racecraft, but I think he's managed to pick up an extra set of skills that they don't really advertise too much. He's learned strategy.
Indeed. A big part of racecraft is knowing when not to attack. And this is the time to attack. The run down the straight towards Hislop. He's ahead of Enns on the way into the braking zone. But Enns is going to pressure him here. Room given, respect given between our race leaders. The Indian versus the Canadian. And the Canadian is ahead. Meanwhile, the Dutchman and the Finn battle over third behind.
I gotta admit, I do love the fact we have such an eclectic field of drivers here. Indeed, people from all over the world. That's why it's Saturday at 11 o'clock Eastern, ladies and gentlemen. Just try and catch a time slot that reaches everybody. Like, we're racing here across the planet, ladies and gentlemen. That's just how global the academy is. And indeed, it doesn't matter where you're from, you can have pace. Certainly, so many different people, so many different backgrounds. But right now, Enns is going to be trying to hold on for this. An outright race win. I don't think he's managed to do that yet, has he? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Jake Enns will know. I don't know.
Jake,
I'm sure.
Has Cairo managed to get an outright win?
I don't think he has. He's been looking for it all season, hasn't he? But so has Pennani too. They've had great results, runner-up quite a few times, especially in the last few rounds. But this is some uncharted territory, I think, for Enns and Pennani, battling directly against each other. Meanwhile, out comes Tuka Valkiasuo on Bas van der Lee. And van der Lee says, all right, mate, you can have that one. I'm not interested in going side by side through the fastest corner on the track.
Yeah, definitely loving the paints here as well. That's one of the academy paints that are being represented by Bas van der Lee, and I absolutely love the gold, love the chrome on it. Indeed, Jeremy Childers rocking an even better paint, ladies and gentlemen. It's a biased opinion. You can see why. If you can't work it out, you're watching the wrong channel, indeed. And I am hearing that Cairo has not got an outright win this season. The pressure is on as Rupesh Pennani hasn't even found his way to the front, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing for Cairo. This could be an excellent strategy. He's going to be able to sit behind Pennani, study his form, study his lines, and indeed try and figure out a plan to find his way at the front of the grid for the final final lap even to take the checkered flag.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 laps to go when they cross the line next, so there's plenty of time for Cairo to try and mount a counter-attack. He is focused, isn't he? He's occasionally glancing in his mirrors to see Valkyasuo, Vandalay, and Childers battle. They are catching up to our top 2 a little bit down the straights, but we'll have to wait and see if the battle is just between our top 2 at the very end. A bit under a second separating ends from Valkyasuo at the moment. Super close racing, and I think it just goes to show, Zippy, we were a bit worried at the start of this one at the low field size, but however many cars are on a track, the number doesn't really matter as long as the racing's good.
Absolutely, and certainly myself, I've loved the fact that the Academy has taken on the Spec Racer Ford. I've been an advocate for this car for many years now myself, iRacing for 6 years, but I do understand we're going to have a different car next season. I'm not going to tell anybody what it is. It's still in the planning stages right now, but certainly I can tell you it's going to be some good action. Just trust me on that.
Ooh, okay, that's a nice little hint there. I can't wait to find out myself. It will be a shame to see the Spec Racer Ford go. It's been such a nice car to show here on the broadcast, but the Almeida Racing Academy does enjoy bringing in different types of car to test the mettle of these drivers. The first couple of seasons we broadcast, they were racing the BMW M2, which was certainly an interesting one. It was fun indeed.
Challenging. Back in the days of Leon Bentbells, and Leon, we miss you here on Pit Road Productions. Certainly would love to see you make a return indeed. Always brought, without a doubt, the biggest cheerleading section to the chat as well. And indeed, I'm trying to remember, there used to be the lion emoji, an orange emoji, which I think was Dutch, a clear one as well, and I'm perhaps sure there was some more. But I had to get translations for the emojis, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, that did not reach this old man here from the UK. And living in Canada, I want to add that as well. Certainly, gotta support the Maple Leafs, ladies. Well, no, the Maple Leafs suck. Let's be real. I'll say that on a stream. Like, as a guy from England, you're going to enjoy this joke, Reese. If I can find myself a lady who supports the Leafs, then she'll be completely loyal because she is used to backing the loser completely faithfully and is never disappointed. So certainly I could be onto a winner there. But indeed, once you guys have tuned back in after that absolutely terrible pun at my expense and indeed the Leafs' expense, Rupesh Fernandez still currently holding on to that lead.
Absolutely. Here comes Cairo Ends. The slipstream getting picked up. There won't be an opportunity at this hairpin. He's a bit too far back. Just needs to focus on the exit. Slightly wider line, but cuts back underneath for a late apex. That was a good line from Cairo Ends. Has it given him the launch, though? I think he's a bit too far behind Pineni to really pull off the move here.
Yeah, you see Pineni.
Or is he? Look at him.
Break the draft.
Oh, he's catching up.
It's
there's just enough room. Oh, slight contact there into Hislops. Pineni holds strong and keeps the lead from Cairo Ends. Meanwhile, Kevin Adrian losing a position to Ian Joyner there. Tyler Harker right in the midst of all of this as well, trying desperately to get past the number 10. This racing on no matter where you look in the field. Our top 4 still together though. Looks like Cairo Ends has actually lost a bit more time to Rupesh Pineni. This is how Joyner made the move there on Kevin Adrian, but we should cut back very quickly. They're coming into the final corner now, and it's on for third between Valkyasuo and Bas Vandalay. Ahead of them, Rupesh Pineni is going to take victory in race 2 after a solid battle between himself and Cairo Ends. Valkyasuo and Vandalay are going to be your top 4, only separated by 0.02 of a second. Fantastic racing at the front once again.
Absolutely incredible racing. Certainly, I got a feel there for Cairo. Just so close, man. Just so close. I do understand his brother is watching as well, so a little bit of extra pressure for him. But indeed, absolutely phenomenal racing. Definitely a car track combination, which I did actually think about getting Rob in the booth here so I could go out and have some fun. I would have. I don't know if I would have been potent in this field because, ladies and gentlemen, the field here, especially in the top split of the Almeida Racing Academy, is incredibly potent. Like, I wouldn't say I'm a Spec Ford specialist, but I'm definitely competent in that car. It would be my strongest car without a doubt. And against these guys, not as confident.
Yeah, indeed. I can set some fast times in a spec racer Ford, but I lack a bit of confidence to carry it forward into a race. But that'll be a matter for another time, I think. The results from the second race, Panetti by 4/10 from ends in the end, with Tuukka Valkeasoa getting onto the podium. It's a very nice comeback here from Tuukka in the top 10 and on the podium in both races, respectively, today. Van der Lee in 4th, with Childers rounding out your top 5. Zomator making it into 6th. That's a very nice result for the German, with Barrett Brummett finishing in 7th. Ian Joyner makes it to 8th after starting from the pits. A very impressive run from our championship leader, with Kevin Adrian and Tyler Harker rounding out your top 10. Jeffrey Adkins in 11th place. Kevin Lau in 12th, ahead of Philip Falcon and Carlton Howard. Neither Jeffrey Westland nor Kane Halliburton took to the start in race 2. I wonder if we'll see them in race 3. But for the moment, we're in the warm-up session. Time for us to take a breather here in the Pit Road Productions booth and have a word from Swelio.
Now he's here teaching all his secrets to all these drivers. This is Almeida Racing Academy,
where every champion has a starting line.
The sim racer turned real world superstar, Swelio Almeida.
It's Connor Bell racing in his own backyard for the very first time in the NASCAR Canada Series.
The workshops helped out so much. Something about battling with somebody faster than you, it just pushes you that little bit further, and I was able to just keep developing my skill.
I can kind of commit more with the exit there. That was good. If you do take sim racing seriously, it does impact your racing technique for the rest of your life.
I know how the car is going to perform around these corners because the model I have in the sim. Just the benefit of sim racing when you go into real life, I don't think people quite realize it yet.
You have infinite track time is the biggest factor. You are able to try so many things, and the physics that are simulated in the sim nowadays, especially iRacing, are so close to real life.
Creating champions.
Swelio Almeida is a master at his craft. He's outclassed a Le Mans driver, a European Le Mans Series racer.
These guys are among the top 0.02% in the world.
Designed to create champions.
First NASCAR Canada start. First NASCAR victory for Connor Bell.
Connor Bell standing on the podium here today.
This is the Almeida Racing Academy 3.0.
Wait a race, buddy, wait a race.
You are watching Pit Road Productions and Swelio Almeida's channel, the Almeida Racing League here, Season 6, Round 9 at Oulton Park. While we have a moment at the end of warm-up, we've got the second place finisher from race 2 with us here, Cairo Enns, joining us. Cairo, it's been some solid pace from you today at Oulton Park, still chasing that elusive first outright win, but I think you got closer than you ever have just then.
Yeah, that was a very good battle with Rupesh. It was very hard fought. It was very, I think it was a very smart move to be as aggressive as I was very early in the race. It was very easy to take a few positions there, get the lead as early as possible, and ideally my whole goal was just make gap to Ian, make a gap to Tyler, and hope that I can keep them behind me. I knew Rupesh was going to be pretty quick, and if he was fighting through the pack, that he was probably going to make a move on me. It was very interesting to see that he actually decided to stay behind me for as long as he did. So it was very good to practice a little bit of defense where I thought it was going to be necessary. And unfortunately, in the final lap on the chicane, I tried to jump to the left to try and break the draft just a little bit and hope that that was going to be enough to keep that car length ahead. But it didn't pan out that way. And I learned very quickly that my strength is on the inside of that corner, not the outside. So I think we're gonna have to keep that in mind for the future here.
Yeah, we certainly will. You're going to have another shot at it here, starting on the front row once again, Cairo. Thanks very much for joining us, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Cairo Enns there. We talked to him quite a bit here in the Pit Road Productions booth, but for very good reason. He's had some fantastic performances this season in the Almeida Racing League. Well, we are here once again for the final race of the day, and as I mentioned, Zippy, it's going to be Rupesh Paneni versus Cairo Enns off the front row, but Ian Joyner starting in 8th now after starting from the pits in race 2. Going to be a very interesting final race.
Absolutely is. I think for this one, we will indeed rock that full grid. I definitely want to see exactly where everybody is going to lay out here. As indeed, here we go, Grease. After you, sir.
Indeed, Rupesh Paneni is starting on pole position with Cairo Enns in 2nd, Tuka Valkyasuo in 3rd place with Bas van der Lee alongside. Jeremy Childers and Zoltan Zomatora your 3rd row with Barrett Brummett and Ian Joyner our 4th row. Kevin Adrian and Tyler Harker round out the top 10. Then Jeffrey Adkins and Kevin Lau, 2 drivers who have had a couple of whoopsies so far tonight. Hopefully they'll have a clean 3rd and final race. Same for Philip Falcon and Carlton Howard, who will be starting 13th and 14th. Jeffrey Westland has not taken to the grid, and it seems neither has Kane Halliburton. So we'll have 14 cars here for the final run of the day, but that's all the cars we need for some great action, as we've already seen twice today.
Yeah, absolutely incredible racing so far, and this is honestly one of the things I love about the Spec Racer Ford. Another idea I have for a car selection certainly would be an underestimate one. Formula V, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
That would be fun. And it's often underestimated. Certainly myself and Reese have had a bit of time here commentating on the likes of Formula V series indeed. But for me, it's definitely not a fast car, ladies and gentlemen. The Formula V it's maybe got 50 horsepower, 60 at a push, but it makes for some really good racing because it's open wheel, you can get incredibly tight, and indeed the draft is huge. So certainly again, maybe if it doesn't make it to the academy, maybe another idea here for a special event here on Pit Road Production.
Ooh, you might lose me from the comms box. I would be very tempted to have a run. I do like my Formula V racing, but we'll keep our eyes peeled on these Spec Racer Fords as they make their way out of the final corner here. Paneni and Enns on the front row, and Paneni gets the better jump here as the green flag flies immediately. Tuka Valkyasuo on the attack, wants to move into 2nd place. Cairo Enns will give him room on the way into the 1st corner. There was slight contact between them. Enns manages to save it, but Paneni breaking away already to a lead of round about 8-9 of a second as a side-by-side between Bas van der Lee and Tuka Valkyasuo. Van der Lee will take 3rd.
Yeah, you can already see here, there's absolute brass clippings flying everywhere here on this circuit, as right now Kevin Adrian just trying to keep a nose here against Tyler Harkin. Kevin Lau lurking right behind as well. It's going to be a freeway fight there as they make their way down. Can Rupesh Paneni break the draft? Indeed, he is about 7/10 of a second clear. Cairo Enns is currently actually just about in that draft and has pulled away about almost a second into Tuka Valkyasuo. This could be absolutely huge here. Enns, if he can stay in that draft, it's going to be potentially an opportunity of a lifetime for him to try and find his way to the front of this pack. But indeed, Tuka Valkyasuo, he's going to need a little bit of help though, but is he going to get it from Zoltan Zomator, who's currently got Jeremy Childers, and indeed the rest of the pack, ladies and gentlemen, right up behind him. Tyler Harker there trying to make a pass, and I hear contact. Look like Barrett Blum getting into a bit of action as well.
Yeah, side by side with Kevin Adrian, and sweeping in there is oh dear, looks like the 157 of Jeffrey Adkins with a problem. It was Kevin Lau who was the driver who swept through there on Adrian and Brummett. A lot of drama here at the, oh my goodness, yep, I think that's why Brummett was sent wide there. The 14 of Bas van der Lee with big problems there, too late on the brakes. And our view briefly blocked from the roll bar camera. Not ideal for Van der Lee. He did make it up into 3rd, but unfortunately ran wide on the exit of turn 3. There's been a problem there for Kevin Lau. I think that puff of, or that cloud of gravel was him.
Yeah, I just see he's got a meatball flag next to his. Whoa! That looked like he had some help.
Yeah, maybe, but I wonder if it was a problem with the rear end. An external view will tell the story here. Oh, yeah, 3 wide there, as it looked like that was Philip Falcon. No, not Philip Falcon. It was, Carlton Howard, who made it 3 wide on the way into Druids. You don't usually do that, and we've just found out why.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for free wide anywhere you can get it done, but certainly high risk, low reward on that occasion. Indeed, this is exactly what Rupesh Fineni would have been afraid of. He's now got Cairo Ends right behind him. Now, I have to wonder as well, is he going to make the move now, or is he just going to sit behind him myself? I would ride the back of that 19 car as close as possible, try and give him a little bit of a bump draft, and then see if I can get inside the guy's head, because obviously he's got pace, and if you can't beat him on pace, try and psych him out, occupy the guy, so he is so focused about you in his rearview mirror, he makes a mistake and potentially goes off course. Should that happen, they're 2 seconds clear of Tuukka, so this could be the opportunity that he's been looking for to get an outright win here at the ARA.
Absolutely. It's been a long wait for Cairo Ends, and we'll see what he can do to get it done there. Ian Joyner up the inside as Zoltan Zomotor at Druids will protect 4th place, and he'll set about trying to catch up to Tuukka Valkeasuo from there. Tyler Harker at the rear of the train for the 3rd place battle. Will be catching a tiny bit of slipstream off of Zomotor and Childers. We'll have to wait and see what he can do to hold on, though. He had great pace in race 1, was a podium finisher there, almost going for victory. But it looks like races 2 and 3 haven't quite gone his way. We'll have to wait and see what more he can do. Remember, this race is longer than races 1 and 2, an extra 5 minutes on the timer.
Yeah, certainly. I know this. I know the feeling of basically just hoping for that checkered flag, begging for that checkered flag to come into play. And certainly, I'm going to keep an eye here on the gap here between indeed P2 in the club class, Tuukka Valkeasuo, and indeed the rest of the cars he's bringing with him, ladies and gentlemen. 2nd all the way down to about 7th, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, 3rd all the way down to about 7th and 8th, ladies and gentlemen. All very much in tow here with Tuukka Valkeasuo. And if they catch up here to the lead pack, we are indeed going to see an all-out fight for the lead.
Yes, indeed. But looking at the lap times at the moment, it seems that Pineni and Enns are just able to hold on to so much more pace than everyone else. And once again, Cairo Enns giving the bump draft to Rupesh Pineni. Ian Joyner makes his way past Tuukka Valkeasuo, and now suddenly I think Pineni and Enns are in a little more trouble, because if Joyner's made his way up to 3rd and has clear track ahead of him, he's going to be catching up to them right quick.
Yeah, this could be a problem. Certainly, Cairo Ends currently holding the fastest lap, indeed, with 144.43. But what can Ian Joyner do? On best lap time, honestly, Ends has got him absolutely dead to rights now. 8-9 tenths of a second clear. But you have to wonder, is it going to be enough? We know that Ian Joyner is potent in some clean air. He's got Tuukka Valkeasuo right behind him. And these guys know of the skill set here, Ian Joyner. Are they going to tuck in behind him and potentially try and help each other to catch up to that lead pack?
They've got to make sure that they keep the speed up through the corners. Ian Joyner's just able to carry a few Ks an hour more at each apex. And look at that fastest lap from Ian Joyner, down to a 44.0, making up a couple of tenths on Pineni and Enns. And obviously his slower lap times before were a consequence of him passing cars pretty much every lap up to this point. Let's see what our championship leader can do to close that gap. It sits at about 2.5 seconds to Enns.
Yeah, there we go. If we take a look here at the lap times, you can see there, you know, on lap 1, Enns gapped him by 2 seconds, another 9 tenths on lap 2, but then lap 3, all of a sudden the tables are turning. We'll keep an eye on the gap. Currently, Joyner about 2.9 seconds there, clear of Rupesh Pineni. Certainly, these guys are going to be aware of that, and Cairo Ends actually dropped back a little bit behind Pineni. He needs to get back behind that number 19 car, and these start helping him try and pull the gap away on number 18.
Yeah, it is an opportunity for a breather, though, for Cairo before he brings the pace up once more. These are the times between Enns and Pineni at the moment. It looks like Pineni is the one with the edge, and Enns was faster on laps 2 and 3. This is where they're making up time on in the sectors, and it looks to me like, well, we're about to see from Joyner only a thousandth down in sector number 5, but apparently Pineni quick in sector 3, but that's about all he's got going for him at the moment.
Yeah, it's certainly some interesting statistics indeed, ladies and gentlemen. As you got to see here, Cairo Ends is going to be very aware of what's coming. He needs to make sure that he doesn't put up too much of a fight. Now is not the time to do it. You got to think about the long-term strategy, as indeed Sam would talk about and say, oh dear.
Oh, yeah, that's on the run out of the final corner there. Not too sure what's gone on. We will find out momentarily. On the brakes into the last turn, he had, I think that's Zomotor up his inside, and contact on the exit. Not ideal. Fortunately, he managed to face the right way and got rolling again.
Here you go, here's a look. Yeah, that looks like a little bit of netcode to me.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair to Zoltan, he couldn't really go any further right than he was. That's just an unfortunate coming together between those drivers. Well, Zomotor's got a lot more racing to do here. Just made his way past Childers and Adrian on the way through the hairpin. Childers fights back on the exit through that beautiful banked corner. I love nailing the line through there. Kevin Adrian has the chance to get a double slipstream here down the back straight.
Yeah, this could be absolutely huge. Certainly, he's going to feel all that overspeed there, and you can see him look absolutely reeling both in Childers and indeed Zomotor as well. But realistically, where is he supposed to go? These two guys side by side through the first corner of the chicane, not quite through the second. Childers tucks in behind. Indeed, can Adrian capitalize on this? Childers goes wide, and yep, that's exactly what he's going to do. Makes his way ahead of Childers, who's actually rocking a bit of damage there to the left front corner.
Indeed he is. Well, good move from Kevin Adrian. Gets up into 6th place. He's had some really good runs in the Spec Racer Ford here, particularly last season. He had some real star performances. Cairo Enns and Rupesh Paneni then up the front of this field, keeping an eye on their lap times. 144.3, 144.2. Ian Joyner still setting 144.0, so he's gaining about 2 or 3 tenths a lap. Times that by 7 laps. If the pace stays the same, Joyner would have to be, I think, about 4 tenths faster per lap to catch up to these guys by the time the white flag flies. And with Paneni getting into the 143s for the first time, it looks like Joyner's job is getting a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, certainly I'm keeping an eye on the gap, and he's not been able to bring it down in enough of an increment there to put him into the solid position he needs to be in. Tyler Harker, though, the next car behind him, there's going to be no help for him because he's about 3.6 seconds back behind him. Joyner's on his own. If he wants to do this, he's going to have to do this completely on talent. He is currently going Rambo in P3 overall.
Yeah, either that or he'll have to hope for a coming together between our leaders, a bit of side-by-side to gain some time potentially. But having said that, I think Paneni and Enns are playing this very nicely. Cairo is not going for the move. He is biding his time and he is waiting for the opportunity. There's still 6 laps remaining. All he has to do is stay within half a second or so of Paneni and he'll be able to go for it on the final lap.
Yeah, certainly it's a solid strategy here, but I have a feeling that Jeremy Childers is starting to feel a little bit of a disadvantage here with the damage on the left front corner of that car. You can see there the bodywork pushed in, certainly compared to the right. Indeed, we'll have to see if it's indeed made a little bit of a adjustment to his toe setting there, and I'd say it has. I have a feeling his wheel is cocked very slightly to the left there. Find out when he goes on the straight. Very slightly, look, you can just about see it. Yeah, he's definitely
maybe a degree of that.
He's going to be 100% dependent on the draft here from the back of the 61. But if he can stay with him, it's going to keep him away from the clutches of Barrett Blummet, who's currently in P8.
Yes, Brummet, one of a few cars that has some dings and dents in the bodywork. Brummet with some rear damage from Bas van der Lee running into the back of him on the run down to Hislop. That is far from ideal there for Barrett. He hasn't been able to get below 144.6.
Look at the lap time here out of Kevin Adrian. Doesn't just make it into the 43s. 143.8. Tyler Harker, a 143.84. These guys are getting quicker.
Yeah, the pace has really come down. I think a combination of the fuel burn, potentially. The car's getting a little bit lighter. The tires are well and truly up to temperature now. Track temperature only 22 degrees Celsius as well, so that's conducive to fast lap times. I'm very impressed with the pace from everybody on that lap, frankly.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that Ian Joyner may have had a bit of an incident as well. He is... No, my apologies. I thought he'd fallen back a little bit more there. But indeed, it's Tyler Harker that has indeed fallen a little bit further back. But the gap's staying pretty consistent now, 2.4 seconds. Joyner's not been able to catch him in. Actually, last lap here. But wow, but look at the last lap. Paneni, 43.2. Enns 43.9. 43.92, 43.93, and then 43.99.
Enns to the lead.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that came out of nowhere. It almost looked like Paneni let him go. That's interesting. No, Paneni didn't let him go. It was
Replay.
flat out a good pass. Yep, replay. Cairo Inns getting a better exit out of Druids and using that to fling by into the final corner. Paneni recognized very early that the move was on, and he just decided to drop back. He'd been watching Cairo in his mirrors. He knew what he was doing, and now I think he's going to give Cairo a bit of a taste of his own medicine. He might hang back here and wait for the final lap for his move.
Well, you say that, despite that, Ian Joyner was able to get 3/4 tenths of a second with that activity going on. Indeed, and not only that, he's managed to go even faster, a 1:43.76, and that's without a draft as well, ladies and gentlemen. These guys have got to be so careful if they want to hold on to this top spot. If Ian Joyner manages to get his hand just barely touching that podium, I have a feeling both of these drivers may lose out on the chance for an outright win. Oh dear.
And then he's coming back here on ends. He'll have the outside line into the chicane. Is Cairo going to force this issue? He said in the interview he was strong on the inside line, and he's managed to make it work. Back to the lead.
Well, you say that. That's another half a second off for Ian Joyner. He's going to be looking at this, smacking his lips, and this is going to be like taking candy from a baby. If indeed if he only needs to get half a second closer, and he's going to get the slipstream. These two guys could potentially throw away a race win if they don't hold off on the battle. And don't get me wrong, we want to see it, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to make for some great racing, but they are definitely taking some unnecessary risks here, as it looks like Panetti's starting to size up another move.
Yeah, stays behind into the final corner, though. Yeah, Panini and Ends need to stop battling if they want to preserve this gap that they have. They can fight on the final lap as much as they like, but if they're losing time now, it's just advantage after advantage to Ian Joyner. And it looks like the lap times are more or less equal again there as Panini take a little bit of trip into the grass on the exit of turn 1. This is as tight as you like up the front.
Yeah, you see there a little bit of a rash there on the front of the number 19 car as well. Are we going to see another move? Are we going to see a bump drop? That's the bump drop. That is some smart play there from Panetti. Ian Joyner is literally on the cusp as he makes it there. He's under a second behind. These guys, it may have been a little bit of a risk, and indeed, it may indeed bite them in the rear end on the way through to the checkered flag. But Joyner is now very much in the fight for this round here at Oulton Park.
Oh, here we go again then. The run down the back stretch here. Across the crest they come, and Cairo is breaking the draft here on Rupesh. We'll see what we can do here into the chicane. Not much. There's a bit of space between them, but Joyner made up a ton of time in that braking zone. Did you see that?
Yep, half a second in one braking zone, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are, for lack of better words, at this point, they're brown bread. I'm not to say that, you know, Ian Joyner is a talented driver, indeed, so is Cairo Inns and Rupesh Pranani, but he's just, if you look at the statistics, I have a feeling that they've gone and they've undone themselves here, letting them get close enough to come into the battle.
Ian Joyner is the reigning champion and the current championship leader for a very good reason. He is perhaps the most potent of any driver in this field when the conditions match up. We'll wait and see what they can do here with 3 laps to go. Across the line, Ian Joyner down to a 1:43.0, picking up that slipstream, stonking pace. Will we see a 1:42 by the end, I wonder?
That is absolutely phenomenal pace there. Don't get me wrong, these guys are, like, I'm going purely off how, like, I've raced against these guys. I'm decent in a Spec Racer 4, but I am not Ian Joyner decent. As you see there, Rupesh Pranani, he's going for it, ladies and gentlemen. I have a feeling this is going to get messy. Cairo Inns there, keeping a nose in. This is, oh my gosh. I'll get the Kleenex ready because I have a feeling there's going to be tears.
Oh, dearie me. There was barely any space at all between Cairo Inns and Rupesh Paneni. A lot of trust between those two. And now Inns finds himself in second place. He's going to try and get Paneni back here. Once again, he says he's strong on the inside line of the chicane. Paneni is maybe lifting off there. I'm not entirely sure what was happening there, but Ian Joyner is well and truly with them now. They sort themselves out. This is a very measured battle between these three. They're not going for it like kamikaze pilots at every single corner. It's nice to see they're playing it smartly.
Well, you say that. I am going to roast them for their strategy. They should have kept it under control and kept Joyner at bay. But indeed, this is the result of those actions. And Ian Joyner now, he's up 5 positions. Tyler Harker's up 6. Actually, we should take a look here at the back, a little bit further back. Zomator and Adrian going at it. But honestly, I can't take my eyes away for this lead fight. There's so much riding on this here. Cairo ends fighting with everything he can muster, trying to get his first ever outright win. Last lap there for Joyner, a 43.08. He went even faster. He's knocking on the door of a 142.
He certainly is. Across the line, 144 2s, 144 3s from our leaders. Joyner gets a better run out of the first corner. He'll have the inside line for Cascades, and he's going for it on Pineni. Second place now belongs to Ian Joyner, and he's carrying that momentum out of the turn.
Enns has got a slowdown as well. He's picked up a slowdown. This could be absolutely catastrophic. Oh, no!
Oh! Joyner in the gravel trap! Can he slow it down in time? He can. Oh, and Enns and Pineni have come together ahead. Oh no, the top 3 battle. Oh, amazingly, they are all still together. This is crazy.
Okay, we're going to need to queue up some replays here, Reese. Let's take a look here. Ian Joyner's point of view. He got a little bit of a nudge, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe caught the rear wheels of Cairo Enns. No push from Pineni. Yeah, he sort of ramped up the back of Enns there. Obviously, neither Pineni or Joyner were aware that Enns was serving a slowdown at that point. What exactly happened between Enns and Pineni? Well, Rupesh going for it into the corner, and yeah, maybe could have afforded to go a little bit further to the right, but regardless, no harm, no foul, at least for the time being. Not sure how much damage Enns has on his car, but he has lost the lead. It is now between Pineni and Joyner, all of our leaders with damage.
Yeah, I got a feeling this could get ugly, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, that Jake Enns there, you know, get the TP because there will be more than just tears. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you, and yep, he is. We're in agreement there, and I have a feeling this may have cost Enns the opportunity here, as indeed multiple things happening on track. We've got to take a quick peek here. As I say that, Ian Joyner now goes side by side with Pineni. I want to see the rest of the race, but I can't take my eyes away. Pineni with a slowdown.
Yeah, that was for running wide out of turn 1. I think that's how Enns got his slowdown on the previous lap too. So now the roles are reversed, and Enns is going to go up the inside of Pineni here. The slowdown's been served for Rupesh, but now the outside line into the hairpin doesn't work for Cairo. Pineni almost going deep, but the banking of the corner being used to perfection by the number 19.
Well, I think yet again, Ian Joyner has indeed pulled the rabbit out of the hat. He's managed to get by, had a little bit of an excursion, but despite that, these two guys, there is no doubt, if you put them in an arm wrestle, I don't think you'd get just an arm wrestle. I think it would be a less than clean fight. Rupesh Pineni there, a little bit of damage on the left front corner. Cairo Enns going side by side with him, but the whole time, Ian Joyner, he's running away 0.7 of a second clear right now.
Yeah, better run out of the chicane and Knickerbrook there for Cairo Enns. Surely not side by side through Druids with Rupesh Pineni. He wants to take second place. It'll be on the outside through the double right. He just manages to keep it on the track. They're going to be side by side on the way into the final corner. Ian Joyner's gone. He's going to win this final race, but it's all between Cairo Enns and Rupesh Pineni for second. And Pineni defensive on the way through the final corner. Enns keeps up the apex speed, but Pineni gets a slightly better run out of the final corner. Could be the left-hand side of the circuit bending towards the line for Enns, and he's just going to get it by 1/100th of a second. Oh my God, there's nothing between them. Look at the time.
Dear.
There's nothing between them, Zippy.
Dead heat, man. Oh, that has to be the best finish we've ever had here. That was tight.
I gotta wonder, Zippy, if you could somehow queue up a slow-mo of that finish between Enns and Pineni.
I will do that for you.
I want to see what the gap was at the line, because officially, like, iRacing timing only shows it down to the 1,000th of a second, right? This was down to the 10,000th of a second, maybe even less, between Rupesh Pineni and Cairo Enns. Oh my goodness, what a final lap.
Yeah, we're going to start it quite far back, ladies and gentlemen, because indeed this battle went on for not just a lap, it went on for the majority of the race there. You see here from the point of view of Cairo Enns, he is absolutely grazing. You see on the right front corner the damage there on Rupesh Paneni's car. Indeed, both of these guys having a couple of battle scars. Gets the clean exit though, gets the run. Paneni at a little bit of a disadvantage there, flirting with the limitations of grip. As if you see Cairo Enns there, getting a slipstream and going to make a move here on rather questionable opportunity here, but still nonetheless goes for it. Reese, by all means, you're doing a better job of this than me. Take over.
Paneni's poor exit there from Knickerbrook was enough for Enns to get alongside into Druids, and man, it is really brave to try and attempt to go through Druids side by side, but Paneni and Enns managed to pull it off, and what a battle it turned out to be. I thought for sure that Paneni was going to have Enns out of the final corner, but I forgot one crucial aspect of Oulton Park: the fact that the start-finish straight curves to the left. With Enns on the left side, he would have a slightly shorter route to take to get to the start-finish line from here. It turned out to be just enough, and I wonder if you can pause when they cross the line here, Zippy, because we need to see how this gap turned out. Maybe even from like a chase cam or something. The start-finish line is right about there, and yeah, Enns was just ahead. Yeah, there was nothing in that.
Really was nothing, but we should probably go over the results. Certainly myself. Anybody who's handy with clipping, clip that. 100% clip that. Share it over everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Just tag Pit Road Productions in it, because that was nothing short of fantastic. Certainly, we had a little bit of a worry with the smaller grid. Yeah, that was completely unfounded. What incredible racing. I have a feeling, I'm curious whether these guys are on good terms or if it's going to be another like grudge match for the rest of the season. But before we get into too much more, we should probably do the results here. Reese, do the honors.
Yep, we should. Ian Joyner makes it a second win of the day here and will extend his championship lead. Winning race number 3, Cairo Enns finishing second ahead of Rupesh Paneni. It looks to me like officially 0.002 of a second the gap. Shows us 1,000th on our SDK overlays, but regardless, all you need to know is it was close. Tyler Harker up from 10th to 4th. A very impressive run there, with Zoltan Zomator rounding out your top 5. Kevin Adrian gains 3 positions to finish in 6th. Barrett Brummett finishes where he started in 7th. I believe the only driver to do so other than Enns. Jeremy Childers and Tuka Valkyasuo, along with Philip Falcon, round out your top 10. Adkins also finished where he started in 11th, and then we saw Bas van der Lee, Kevin Lau, and Carlton Howard rounding out our field. Howard retiring very early, and van der Lee, well, he had a shot at a podium, unfortunately lost it in the early laps, but he'll still have 2 more rounds of the season to try and make good on his potential. With that, we will bring our way into the interviews, and it looks like for the first time we'll have a chance to talk to Rupesh Paneni, but that will wait for a moment because we've got Ian Joyner with us now. Ian, thanks for joining us. 2 wins from today. Didn't take to the immediate race start in race 2. What was the reason for starting from the pits there?
I didn't click the start the race button in time. Not a very good reason, really. It's a very short window. It's not like I don't know that, but it's not unusual for people to step away from the rig in between races. So I stepped away, and just as I came back, I saw it like 2, 3, 2, and I went to grab it, try and click it, but missed it. So entirely accidental. But
it happens to the best of us. All good on that one, but it ended up setting you up for a great drive in race 3. The battling between Cairo and Rupesh ahead really allowed you to catch up as much as half a second per lap, and even half a second in a single braking zone. So you must have been driving with a bit of tunnel vision there.
Yeah, which very nearly took me completely out of it, to be honest. So I was definitely happy to get into the fight. I knew sort of going into it. Because the reverse grid gives you quite a lot to do as it is without starting from the pits and being 7 seconds off the back of the group. So I knew just getting to the lead fight would be a good result. So I was really happy to get in there, and certainly Rupesh's pace in front, I think I was bumping him a little bit as well, was just really good. So if they kept doing that, I don't know, I'd have only just got there. When they started fighting, that really helped. It's always harder sort of trying to pass when you've got two cars because the one behind gets a draft and sometimes a side by side. But yeah, I was happy to get through on Rupesh, and then to be honest, it's that tunnel vision. I think Cairo was actually serving a slowdown as well, so maybe he lifted a fraction early, but I was also just right on his bumper and just misjudged it, bumped him. But they decided to wait for me, which is really kind and thoughtful of them. Had a little bump themselves, so luckily I was still in it coming out of that. And then I think Rupesh picked up a slowdown as well. Well, I think he also had a bit of front end damage, so I might have had a reasonable chance of getting that pass done. But yeah, so a bit of a chaotic finish. Yeah, just happy to be there at the end, I guess, and enjoy racing at Oulton Park, so it's fun.
Indeed. Really good results for you today, Ian. And yeah, Panini did get a slowdown as well, just to confirm. Well, regardless, it's time to get set for those final 2 rounds. Wishing you the best of luck for next week's race at Imola. Thanks very much for joining us once again, and congratulations on the double victory.
Thanks, Reese. Thanks, Tippy. I'll see you next time.
That was Ian Joyner there, the winner of races 1 and 3. A bridesmaid in this event was Cairo N's Zippy. Ended up finishing second in races 2 and 3. You've got him.
Well, certainly Cairo, that was without a doubt one of the best races we've seen here in the Academy. Don't get me wrong, we've seen a lot of fantastic races. I was a little bit frustrated with you in the mid part of that race. Certainly yourself and Rupesh starting to have a little bit of a battle, and as a result, you saw what happened. Ian Joyner able to come in there, the Pink Panther himself, ladies and gentlemen, sneaking in there and taking away the race win. But I got to say, it wasn't a race without action. Tells a little bit about the strategy and indeed the battles here going into that final round.
Well, once I noticed that Rupesh was going to be starting P1 and I was going to be right beside him, I figured the best opportunity I had for a good position was to tuck in behind him and just push him forward as far as we could. Closer to the end there, about 8 or 7 minutes left in the race, he made a little bit of a mistake and ended up slow on one of the exits, and I figured, hey, I'll take that position and see if I can defend it the rest of the way through. The real kicker, though, was when I got that off track that gave me the slowdown penalty. With that one, I wasn't sure exactly where I wanted to serve it, and it turns out that my choice for serving it was the wrong one, and ended up getting Rupesh in the back of me, got us both sideways, and from there it was a bit of a fight around the final lap and a half. But yeah, it was fantastic catching up again and making it to the end. Yeah, about partway through the race, I noticed Ian was catching up, and I actually planned to have him fight Rupesh if I could stay ahead of Rupesh, but that didn't quite go to plan.
That didn't, did it?
No, not really. If I didn't have that slowdown, it might have worked, but hey, it is what it is, and it was a fantastic finish. It was a fantastic race, and couldn't ask for anything more.
Well, I gotta say, Cairo, definitely a fun battle. Yourself and Rupesh, I couldn't really work out if it was a friendly battle or indeed a bit of a grudge match. But he's now here in the booth. We're gonna have Reese is gonna have a chat with him. Rupesh, huge welcome to the interview booth. Oh, let me hang on a second. There we go. You're now on the big screen, sir. Definitely a little bit overdue. Reese, I understand you've been able to catch up with the. I feel bad saying it, the third place driver, but realistically, pretty much a dead heat.
Yeah, indeed, Rupesh. You did come away with one win today in race number 2, right up the front the whole way through. And I think from the start of the season on, you've been one of the top competitors in the league. It's good to see that you've been able to get those consistent top results. It was a great battle between you, Ian, and Cairo in race 3. What was your perspective of it all? You were one of the drivers to unfortunately get a slowdown in the midst of all of that.
Yeah, the race 3 was fun, and I think at the start, me and Cairo, we were able to pull a good gap in front of the others, and we were trying to bump draft each other and just stay 1 and 2, make sure Ian doesn't join our battle. But I think I started battling with Cairo just a bit too early, and that helped Ian to fight back. But yeah, all in all, I think I had fun. 3 races, 3 times on the podium, so it's a good day.
It's your first season in the Almeida Racing League. Obviously, as a student of the academy, you've been using that learning material to really improve your pace and racecraft. How have you found the experience?
Oh yeah, it's really amazing, the academy, and I've become a much better driver. And yeah, watching the racecraft videos by Suelio, those helped me a lot. Judging the start, how to drive in cold tires, and also when you're battling with multiple cars, like in the Spec Racer Ford, you always, have like couple of guys in front of you, couple of guys behind you. So yeah, battling in those scenarios, I've improved a lot.
Fantastic to see, and I think the results really speak for themselves on that front. Well, Imola is going to be the continuation of the potential grudge match between yourself and Cairo. You were battling super hard here at Oulton Park, and I think those long straights and tough curbs of Imola are going to provide quite the challenge for you both. What are you expecting?
Yeah, Imola is really a tough track. I haven't driven it in iRacing yet, but I have driven it in the F1 game. And yeah, it's going to be a challenge, especially with the long straights and a lot of drafting. I think we're going to see a lot of pack racing, so the racecraft has to be on point in that race.
Yeah, pro tip, the version of Imola and iRacing is an older scan, so the curbs are slightly different as to what they appear in the F1 games. So I think anyone who hasn't driven Imola yet should take that advice. The curbs are a bit more brutal than you'd expect, but we'll bring both of you in here, Cairo and Rupesh. Obviously, the communications between you two during the race could have brought a fever pitch from time to time. Cairo, obviously, you've got a bit of a score to settle coming into Imola. You have yet to take that overall win here in the Almeida Racing League. You'll be pushing hard to get it done, won't you?
Oh, pushing very hard. It's going to be a very tough battle, especially with the long straights. It's been one of my weaknesses in this car, figuring out how to battle along the straights with all that draft effectively. It's going to take a lot of practice to figure out exactly how to defend pretty much every corner, really. And just keep it off the curbs as best I can and utilize the few curbs that I should be. And yeah, it's going to be a very close battle. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely is. Zippy, you want to jump in here? Is anything you want to say to these two?
Well, certainly I am going to be 100% an instigator. Rupesh there, certainly you finally made it into the interview booth. And not only that, you bought your driver cam. Can you put this on for us next week? Because we would love to have that. And the speed that you got it set up as well, you are a testament to anybody who says I can't be bothered to do it, because you did that in about 30 seconds flat with the help here of what I am going to instigate 100% your biggest rival. Ian Joyner is without a doubt a deadly competitor, but it's realistically, it's been you two going at it for the majority of the season now. We've got you both in the booth, and I'm 100% in one corner we have Rupesh, in another corner we have Cairo. What's the rivalry like between you two guys? Because honestly, it seems very friendly, very professional, but I have got no shadow of a doubt that if you're going to beat anybody in this grid that you want to beat, it's the driver of the 117. Could you confirm or deny that?
Yeah, that's true. Cairo is a really strong driver. So yeah. And also Ian as well. Without Ian on the grid, I would have had, I think, 2 or 3 more wins. So it's always annoying to just, be a little bit behind him. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun to battle these guys.
Well, certainly, I do have to wonder as well if maybe instead of having a grudge match, maybe you two guys should in fact make a truce here and try and get yourselves ahead of Ian Joyner. Is that something that you would be open to, Cairo? Or do you think realistically, forget it, it's an all-out grudge match for the driver of the 19?
Looking back at today's races, I think definitely making up a truce for the upcoming race next week is going to be very beneficial. That's, of course, assuming that we can get ahead of Ian in the first place, which is the hard part.
Fair point. Oh, dearie me. Fantastic performances from the both of you today, and from Ian as well. All of our top 3 should get all the congratulations in the world for putting on such a fantastic show. Ian, Cairo, Rupesh, thank you so much for joining us in the commentary box. I'm sure that we are going to continue this conversation in haste after the racing at Imola. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, I got to say, that was
fantastic.
It was absolutely fantastic. And you know what? That's the kind of thing where this doesn't feel like a chore at all. If every race had that, I almost feel like I'd become numb to it, but I don't think you possibly could. But let's get a little bit of a quick, when I find the button, a quick point of view here from your commentary staff for Indeed Productions. Look at the smile on his face, ladies and gentlemen. Reese Gardner currently lit up like a Cheshire cat, ladies and gentlemen. He's not going to get the metaphor. Ian Joyner will. Indeed, he'll understand the jamminess. He gets it, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, he's more than a cat on caffeine, but I've got to say, that was absolutely incredible action. I mean, Imola as well. It's on the Princess Approved track list. This is going to be even better. And the curbs, the drafting, the grudge match that's coming against Ian Joyner because he's gone one last season. You know, like, I almost wonder, am I going to have to find my way out on the track and maybe try and dice it up with these guys, or am I just going to make an embarrassment for myself? You know, or am I going to have to sit here in the production booth? Certainly, it could go either way, but Reese, what an absolutely phenomenal round indeed. Give us your thoughts, what you expect to see at Imola.
Well, I expect to see slipstreaming battles aplenty. I expect the curbs to be taking a few victims, at least. Those speed bumps at the apexes on the iRacing scan certainly don't play nice with the Spec Racer Ford or any really stiffly sprung car, to be honest with you. But I think next week's round is going to be won by taking care. I think aggression is one thing, but if you can plan your moves and execute them properly and keep yourself on the straight and narrow, so to speak, you will find success at Imola. I'm looking forward to it.
Certainly, and I do have to think as well, maybe these maybe the drivers of the 117 and indeed the 19 maybe need to have like a little tally chart going about how many times they've beaten each other. We are 100% going to encourage that rivalry. And indeed, you know what was really good about it, Reese, as well, is it wasn't fiery, it wasn't, you know, screwy or anything like that. It was clean, and that is incredibly, you know, you don't see that every day here in sim racing. Certainly we see the opposite end where people, you know, the teddies are out the pram, the dummy is spat out, and indeed the tantrums begin to start. But I got to hand it to these two guys, completely professional as well. And I got to say, Rupesh Panani for getting on the camera so quick, so efficiently. How to you? I do have to wonder if these pieces of paper on the wall were indeed notes from the academy, because certainly they're paying off, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, I got to say, absolutely incredible. But I don't really want to go. Honestly, I would happily do another round of that. Very happily do another round of that. But it's we got Kevin Adrian in the chat as well saying it's all a friendly rivalry. We're just trying to get faster, and the only way is to race others quicker than you. I've got to say, I do agree with that as well. Certainly, all of these drivers of today, without a doubt, are quicker than me, and I'm handy in a spec Ford, ladies and gentlemen. But Reese, I don't want to do it, but we should probably bring it to the show to a close. Get a message from Swallow on the way out as well. But Imola's coming. That's going to be an absolute belter.
Certainly is. The penultimate round of the season next week. We want to thank you all once again for joining us on this fantastic journey around Oulton Park, and we certainly hope that Imola brings as much, if not more, action. I'm Reese Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the commentary box here on Pit Road Productions, whether you're on our channel or Swellio's. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next week when we head over to Italy.
He's here teaching all his secrets to all these drivers. This is Almeida Racing Academy,
where every champion has a starting line.
The sim racer turned real world superstar, Swellio Almeida.
It's Connor Bell racing in his own backyard for the very first time in the NASCAR Canada Series.
The workshops helped out so much. Something about battling with somebody faster than you, it just pushes you that little bit further, and I was able to just keep developing my skill.
I can kind of commit more with the exit there. That was good. If you do take sim racing seriously, it does impact your racing technique for the rest of your life.
I know how the car is going to perform around these corners because the model I have in the sim. Just the benefit of sim racing when you go into real life, I don't think people quite realize it yet.
You have infinite track time is the biggest factor. You are able to try so many things, and the physics that are simulated in the sim nowadays, especially iRacing, are so close to real life.
Swellio Almeida is a master at his craft. He's outclassed a Le Mans driver, a European Le Mans Series racer.
These guys are among the top 0.02% in the world.
Designed to create champions.
First NASCAR Canada start first NASCAR victory for Connor Bell.
Connor Bell standing on the podium here today.
This is the Almeida Racing Academy 3.0.
Way to race, buddy. Way to race.